Grace for a good race here in Antholz. He says really it's all about who can handle the conditions best and the altitude, so ski pressure preparation will play a big part for today, and as he says it's just starting to snow now, so maybe those starting later might not get the best conditions. Mike, the air temperature is still pretty stable but a lot warmer than yesterday.
A lot warmer, and the fog has been blowing up the valley, so an hour ago the range was quite bad at the beginning of the zeroing. Now if that comes in as the race progresses, could make it difficult for some of the athletes. Clear right now though.
0 degrees the snow temperature, and well, it says wind temperature -2, which is an indication that there's very little wind indeed. In fact, those light snowflakes just falling almost vertically, but it depends which part of the course you're in. World Cup standings at the moment, Poiré and Bjorndalen are along, well, breaking away, with Fischer going with Bjorndalen on equal points at the moment. Hjelland in 4th, so Norwegians going well. Nikolai Krugloff has climbed back into the top 10 after a good race in the individual the other day. Frode Andersen, Mike, down in 17th.
And that's with poor shooting. If Frode, and we've seen him get it together, it can all happen and get himself up on the podium. Jay Hakkinen, 22nd, the American, which is pretty good. That hopefully will inspire the rest of their team.
So as we said, number 6 sprint for the season. Only 3 winners so far. Bjorndalen's taken 3 of them. Fischer 1. And the surprise sprint winner of the season was Stian Eckhoff of Norway.
Well, I wonder if it's this man today, Oss from Norway. Left-handed shooter. He does have the ski speed.
When did a left-hander last win a race?
Well, I was thinking that back in 1991, a Swedish biathlete, believe it or not. In fact, he was second because of the turnaround. He lost it by about 1.2 seconds.
So it did cost him the race. We'll have a look at the course. Mike, just talk us through the route here in Antholz.
The first loop is a 3 kilometre. As we're seeing, that's the little hairpin bend down under the bridge into Shoot. And the second loop is the longer one, the 4 kilometre. As we're coming around now, this is climbing up to the high point. Quite a tight right-hander here. A climb again, downhill and picking up onto the 3 kilometre. And again, those steep climbs in the field behind the range. And then the last loop, so Shoot again, standing after this loop. And then to the finish, it's the 3 kilometre loop. Overall, quite a testing and tough technical course.
So the men's sprint, antholz-anterselva hosting round 6 of the Biathlon World Cup, and we're settled in, ready for the start of the men's sprint again. It's another huge field of 123 skiers. A little bit of a bonus, the main seeds have decided to go in Group 2 as opposed to Group 1, but that means that Group 1 is slightly reduced, so in fact all we've done is shift the better skiers maybe 20 places further back than normal, which will keep the race alive for a little bit longer. Have you seen anyone at the back of the field, Mike, who looks as though they've got a chance of taking a top 3?
Well, this the second last athlete to start, Vorschlager from Germany. Although he hasn't done so well this season, his skiing speed is coming up and we know he can shoot as Derkach sets out for his 10 kilometres.
So away we go with the Ukrainians, the number 2 in the Ukrainian team. Derkach just getting the race underway. Good fast start, can't afford any lapses in effort or concentration on this sprint event. Sven Fischer still doing his warm-up, and maybe we should talk about warm-up procedures a little later on, Mike, when we've got most of the field underway. Moravec of the Czech Republic, 20-year-old, very impressive in Ruhpolding, 24th in the sprint there, but slightly disappointed that he didn't start the pursuit the following Sunday.
I agree, but I mean at 20 years old, I think the coaching staff are being sensible there. They don't want to overdo him, and to come in your first World Cup, come 29th in the sprint last week, then move up to 24th, this man has a huge potential. So I think he's just being protected and saved by the coaches not to overdo it.
Adopted the same sort of arm action as Raphael Poiré, but brings the hands a little bit closer together at the front, which in many ways is a bit of a mistake because a lot of the power, not a lot, but a percentage of the power going to waste.
Well, we don't see many people, as you say, bring them in that close, but it's working for the young man, Moravec. There's Jay Hakkinen's coach on the right of the picture, Algis Shalna, formerly from Latvia, moved over to America 10, 12 years ago.
Gribosenkov is away. Marek Matiasko from Slovakia also away in the yellow suit. And Yunbai Park is going to be the next man to start for Korea. There goes Marek Matiasko. We're going to try and keep an eye on the Slovakian team today. The likes of Matiasko and Huyat who go early on. And then they've got the other Matiasko and, of course, Novak, who are in the last two groups. Just to give you some information on teams that we don't usually see. The tour obviously dominated by Germany, Russia, France and Norway. And the Slovakian athletes haven't quite performed as well as they were this time last year. Form is down, but I have noticed their ski speed is beginning to improve, so that could mean top 25 position today. Here goes the first of the big guns, Egil Hjelland of Norway, currently lying fourth in the World Cup standings. A very early start, but it didn't do Olga Pilieva any harm yesterday, and he'll be delighted to see that the flags are hardly moving, because at this rate the early starters are going to get good shooting conditions, and it can and it does change so quickly here in Antholz. Well, this is one of the few stadiums in my time, years and years of racing, where the conditions were very changeable within the 2 hours race time. And I remember once the fog came in, the first group had fantastic shooting conditions, the fog came in, so the middle part of the race really suffered, and the tail enders were given the advantage of good conditions as well. That's luck of the draw, really, because there aren't many meteorologists that can predict it that closely. They may know there's some fog coming, but they don't know the exact moment. So that's part of the game, and we need to discuss starting orders again. It seems to be the season's topic. But let's focus on this man first. Lars Berger, immensely quick, most exciting biathlete on the tour for me at the moment, simply because you never quite know what's coming, but he does produce moments of brilliance, and he got a good second place in Ruhpolding last week. He did, and he's not quite as fast. When I say quite as fast, but he isn't. He hasn't got that percentage above the rest in the longer distance. So the sprint is Berger's race, and well, we can be entertained today. Has the potential to win. Well, he's looking aggressive. Yeah, he will ski fast, there's no question about that. What he'll do on the range, we just don't know. He dropped from second down to 22nd in the pursuit last Sunday in Ruhpolding, so that was his last fast performance. Slightly unusual leg action as he goes round the corner. A little bit of wasted energy, I suggest. I don't think we see Bjorndalen lifting it quite so high, but he's just oozing with energy, and I guess just a little eager to get underway. I suppose that lifting, it's giving him his total body weight onto the left ski. When his right heel is lifted up in the air, it means all the weight, all his body weight is on the left ski. But you don't have to lift it that high. I mean, once it's an inch off the ground, it's done the job. Your weight has to be 100% on the other side. Seems to work for him. But I think that raises a good point, Mike, as we go back to Egil Hjelland, is it does work for all these guys, and they're all very quick, but if they can gain a half or even a quarter of a percent improvement, then they're improving, you know, they're going to get faster, and they're probably going to gain more places in the results. So no one, not even Ole-Einar Bjorndalen, should at any stage stop thinking about technique and developing. No, there's always a way to improve, and this season it seems to be the improvement, or the changes are coming in the rifle stock and where to place your spare rounds for the relay. Everybody's thinking Ole-Einar Bjorndalen, he's got a wider hand rest when he's in the prone position. As the strap pushes his hand underneath the stock, gives it more stability. Well, we'll see that later on. Ole-Einar Bjorndalen going number 43 today. Here goes Pokluka, an excellent shot when he's on form, and I think it's going to need a clear shot to win today, certainly if the conditions stay as they are. Matthias must be feeling more positive. His best result was just 2 days ago here in Antholz, 25th. But he missed 2 targets in his last standing. Hopefully he can put that right today and have a fantastic result for Slovenia. Coaches and athletes, Japanese coach in the background there. The final 15 minutes, it's because of the shooting and the stress, you need to just try and relax. You've done your warm-up, you just need to get your body and your mind together and try and relax. No point in carrying tension into your skiing.
So you do see people in different methods of warming up. Some like to laugh around and joke. Others like to just be in their own little quiet zone.
Nice easy skiing from Lars Berger, eating the ground up as effectively as ever. And the crowd just waiting for the early starters to come back in towards the shooting range, having completed their first 3-kilometre lap. Starting to get used to the altitude of Antholz now.
Egil plants his ski poles or his hands quite wide in the double poling. Very short range of movement, and that's to keep the tempo as high as he can up this very steep incline. A lot of power to be able to carry that technique up the steepness of that hill.
Moravets, and we switch to Lars Berger. Now, Mike, Lars is one of those men who brings the legs very, very close together before each stride. He's got very good balance. And if we compare that to, say, Halvard Hannevold or even Oleana Bjorndalen, I think Berger does it more than anyone else.
Yeah, he does absolutely bring his feet right in.
Now, Derkach. Well, one penalty loop incurred. Remember, in the individual, which we saw 2 days ago, it was a full minute's penalty for a missed shot. Today, though, they're on to the penalty loop again, so they have to ski that 150-metre loop. And Derkach will break to his right now. You can see at least half of the loop. It's been well prepared, so it should be reasonably quick. But the penalty loop, never that easy, simply because you're always working one leg more than the other.
That is so true, and here in Antholz it's an absolute circle. In rope holding, it's more egg-shaped, and at least you've got a straight, but here you're right, the inside leg is keeping the strain. But it's just a depressing thought. You could go straight on, you pick up penalties, you have to go around this loop 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think we'll see anybody going round it 5 times today in the one visit. Roger Gruben just preparing his scoring sheets.
You can see the target on the opposite side. He'll have a few magnets, and he'll put the marker wherever the shots fall. And in training, he'd show the target to the athlete. In race time, it's just onto the radio and pass the message out onto the track to the rest of the squad, just to let them know where the shots are falling. And of course, if his athletes need to change their sights, they'll be told exactly what to do.
It's good at picking up on Stavros Christoforidis, the Greek. He's been on the world tour on and off for 12 years. He was actually only 10 seconds down at 1 kilometre on Berger's time. So, well, it might be Stavros' undoing to start so fast. And it's all uphill the first kilometre.
Now, Egil Hjelland. Can he get his second win of the season and the second win of his career here today? Has looked very, very consistent this season. Already, was that a change of the sights, or is he just lifting the sight protector?
I thought it was a small change, winding them anti-clockwise, which means the wind is from the right.
So not the clear shoot that Norway and Hjelland were after. Roger Gruben, there you go, passing the information out to the course. He has another quick look just to check where it went. And I wonder whether that was to do with the sights or whether it was just a stray shot. Often you think with the first one that it's a stray shot.
It's unlike Egil to, on cam conditions like this, to make a mistake in the prone. And I don't think he'll be very happy with himself right now. So the deal is you have to push harder out in the track. You've lost 21 seconds, maybe 22 seconds round this loop. Punishing.
So Hjelland goes out, completing his loop. He's outside the best time set by Moravets. But plenty of time to make that up. But really, he needs to hit 5 in the standing to have any chance of finishing in the top 5 positions here today. Now, hold on to your seats, cross your fingers and your toes if you're Norwegian. Here comes Lars Berger. Slight delay for the last one, but it's gone down when he's good. He's absolutely brilliant. Excellent shooting from Berger. 7:53 on the clock at the moment. Now, has Park really gone out in 7:29? Mike, can we just double check that on our commentary box computer?
No,
that's quite sensational if he has. Here comes the man who produced the shock of the meeting so far. Zhen Yishang of China, absolutely like grease lightning the other day. Now, we mentioned yesterday that he'd got the Norwegians to wax his skis. We haven't been able to find out whether he's done so again today, but we should find out at the very first split time.
Well, didn't he look dynamic? That must be one of the fastest first 400 meters, so Zhang is on a mission again. And you know, he must be building confidence with his recent results and the recent ski speed. Brilliant second just 2 days ago in the world of biathlon, a 22-year-old from China.
The Korean Park was, as you saw, on the top of the leaderboard after the first shoot, but from our records he's missed 3 targets and has still recorded a time of 7:29, so he must have skied the first 3 kilometres at something like 60 k's an hour. He hasn't done that, we know that for sure. We'll just confirm his position, expecting a correction to happen any moment. But if we're right, it means that Berger has the lead, Moravets in second, and Derkach of the Ukraine with 1 miss in 3rd position. Peter Moisey has gone clear, good for the New Zealander, in 8th position at the moment. Peter, after a top 100 result, that's his aim for the season, hasn't achieved it as yet.
Oh. Well, he adjusted his sights and now he's moved them back to where they were. There is a slight wind across the firing point now.
Well, that is not a good start for Pokluka. Boosted his reputation by saying he was an excellent shot. Last year he was very good. In fact, all the Slovakians were good. The Slovenians also shooting well. They've focused on that over the last few years, but that was not the sort of start he was expecting. Berger, on the other hand, has absolutely nothing to complain about. 10:14, not skiing quite as fast as we would have expected. Maybe he's been chatting to Bjorndal and saying, look, start a little slower on the first lap and a half, and it really pays off.
Well, I think that is the strategy. I mean, but he always does look so relaxed. Now he's climbing up further, remember, onto the 4-kilometre loop, having just started on the 3-kilometre.
Carl-Johan Bergman just starting for Sweden, wearing bib number 30, as you can see, and he's only 8 places, in fact 9 places behind Matthias Nielsen, so 4.5 minutes down on Nielsen. Now the Swiss have been a team, maybe they should be our team of the day next time they're out on the course for the pursuit, because Mike, they've put in some good runs this year. Hallenbach having the same problems.
But they are a team that's on the move up now. They have a coach who is from Oberhof, I think one of the school coaches there, but a coach of high reputation, and it really has gelled this team well. So I think Switzerland the next 3 or 4 years could be the main team, one of the main teams out here in the World Tour. And there he is, not happy, very disappointed.
All that hard work down the drain, doesn't look happy at all. Now Grippo, one of the young Frenchmen on the tour, and France, I think, realising they need to bring up the youngsters, so they're starting to get runs in the relay team and entries into the individual races as well. So a good start for Grippo, we expect nothing less. Interesting, Mike, to see that Park, the leaderboard after the first shoot has been changed. Park's gone from first down into second with a time of 8:29. He's only 22 seconds off the lead. He missed 3 targets. He's skiing 40 seconds quicker than Berger in the first 3 Ks. What's going on?
Do you know what I think's happened? I think he's taken a right-hand turn too early, and gone on to the 2.5 kilometer loop instead of the 3 kilometers. Sometimes the Chinese and the Koreans, they don't understand everything at the team leaders meetings, which are carried out in English, German and sometimes Russian. And maybe there's a misunderstanding there.
Well, do you think that's why Zhang got such a good time the other day?
No, this man did the correct course and he did it so well.
Skiing very well. Zhang already catching time up on Gusev and Gredler. Good strong ski, immensely strong in the quads and the hamstrings. While we're watching the early starters, just an opportunity to thank you for the emails that you've sent in over the last 24 hours. We've set up a new site just to ensure that we get your feelings on the races and the programs and of course the commentary, and a few of them coming in, and we'll go through them later in the day. But Mike, first one's first. Couple of emails wanting to know about the sites being used in the biathlon, which of course are 2 ring sites, but you've got plenty more details on that.
Sights, that's right. You have an aperture. That means you can adjust the rear sight. It's a circular vision as you look through. If it's dark conditions, you can open this wider, and the front sight is a fixed sight of your choice. You can adjust them for different weather conditions, and they all match up with the circular target. So you're just lining up these 3 circles, and as soon as they all match, and there's the wind coming from the left, you adjust these sights as well by a number of clicks. And in this particular wind, you would click 4 left and 2 up, because the wind from the left pushes the bullet down from where it was without wind. I hope that makes some sense. It's called quite technical, but you do get very used to it when you do this.
In layman's terms, if you make a ring with your thumb and forefinger on both hands and then line them up, that's almost exactly what you see. 2 rings to look through, and then hopefully the target is in the centre of that. And Ricky from Brighton sends in a message saying, do they use telescopic sights? Well, there are 1 or 2 biathletes who need them, but they don't have them. So there's your answer.
No, they are definitely not allowed. Very interesting, the young Russian who won the Europa Cup 6, the sprint and the pursuit, lying in 2nd position now. He just won those races last week, been promoted into the World Cup team, and he's 2nd place after the prone.
Ludwig Gredler of Austria, one of the veterans on the tour. He's gone the same as Egil Kjelland, 1 miss, and will be a long way behind Lars Berger, who can't be far off coming in for his 2nd shoot. Egil Kjelland now approaching the range. He's got company in the form of Karl-Johan Bergman. Bergman looking very good, Mike.
Bergman is. Now remember, Bergman's a lap behind, if you like, and Kjelland needs now to get right in behind Bergman to assist him in the final part of this loop. That's the advantage of an earlier start. You can get the drag-on factor. This must be a new experience for the Chinese, getting the attention, getting the cameras following them in the races.
Now, 2nd 2 days ago in the individual. Best ever Chinese result for a male competitor. Can he back it up with another good run in the sprint event? Skiing fast.
He's really weighting his rifle stock with his head. The Chinese are very good in the Summer Olympics at shooting, and they have picked up as much information from their experts there as they can.
Well, that 1 penalty proving too expensive on this occasion. He's not going to go 1 better than he did 2 days ago, because that's another 23 seconds added to his time, and he was already 13 seconds outside the time set by Lars Berger. Moravec rattling through the targets. There's the first miss, but 9 out of 10. Didn't waste any time in the range at all, and that's a promising result. Only his 2nd race this season.
Oh, a 20-year-old Moravec is going to be great, possibly even as great as this man. Who knows?
Well, I think that's unlikely, but here is the star of all time. Ole Einar Bjorndalen going for win number 49 today, and the sprint event is by far and away his best. He's got 3 wins out of 5 so far this year in the sprints, and Bjorndalen has a good advantage starting behind Berger. That will give him a target to aim at. What are we expecting today, Mike? Is he going to go flat out from the beginning, or do you think he's really appreciated that it's better to hold back at 85, 86% for the first loop?
It does seem to be that he's playing around with this new tactic of trying to control himself earlier on, and it certainly, to me, looks like he is doing that. A wise decision. It changes the whole shape of your race. It means that you are in control of yourself rather than going absolutely mad from the start line to the finish line. Seems to be working for him. Well, Hjelland has passed Bergman, but slowing down as they come into the range, reducing their heartbeat just by 8, maybe 10 beats per minute.
I mean, most of these men will be able to push their pulse up to around 200, maybe slightly less for the older athletes. But one thing they all have in common, at their level of fitness, the pulse comes down very, very quickly indeed. Hjelland has to go clear. Seemed to be taking much more care than usual, breaking away from his normal routine. A slow shoot from Hjelland and a bad one. 2 more misses, so that's 3 penalty loops in all. Carl-Johan Bergman has missed one as well, but he's very quick away from the map. Now let's go back to Lars Berger, leading still after the first shoot, but as you can see, those 2 yellow dots indicating 2 misses. That's now 3 and 4. His game's over. What a shame.
Well, how does he do that? Only missed 3 out of 20 2 days ago, but he's missed 4 in one visit out of 5 targets.
Well, he's going to get dizzy on the penalty loop. He's got 4 loops to do, so that's 600 meters in all. It will take him around 2 minutes to complete that. The Norwegian's not going too well today, unfortunately, with misses by Hjelland and Lars Berger. Berger's last shot, incidentally, a long, long way off the target. Didn't even get to see it in the close-up picture. Abel Hjelland, 22 seconds down off the lead with his 3 misses. Mike, any news from further down the field? Anyone coming up with good performances on the first shoot? You mentioned the Russian. The young Russian, yes, who won the Europa Cup 2 races last week, still in 2nd place. Not many have actually shot the perfect 0 out of 5 in the pro, and only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 out of 30 have cleared. So it must be difficult out there today. Lee Jackson should be happy, missing 1. He's in 19th place after the prone. And with a clear shoot, that would have put him into the top 15 for now, which would have been even more impressive. But he's got to go clear on the standing. The Slovakians, we were going to try and keep an eye on. The best of those at the moment, Marek Madiasko in 16th place. He started very early on. We'll pick up on him a little later. But we're getting into the top seeds now. Number 50 is Nikolai Kruglov, 9th in the World Cup standings for Kruglov. Had a bit of a dip when we went to Oberhof, but seems to have regained his form, and he'll really need a good race here to boost his confidence. Now, Shikora.
Look at the wind now, though, Patrick. The snowflakes are really coming left to right fast.
Former winner here in Antholz, Thomas Sikora. Only 1 target left standing. Not a lot of time wasted on the range. Here comes a man who hasn't missed here in Antholz. 100% hit record so far this week.
He is just so efficient. This is a lot of energy output, and he makes it look so easy.
Yeah, he looks so light on the ski. The tempo is high, but he's covering the ground at a phenomenal rate. Iderov for Belarus. Their spirits high after victory yesterday from Elena Zabrilova, but he misses number 5. Rico Gross just starting off, and that starts a train of top athletes. Tobrelut's next, then Frode Andersen, and then when we get down to bib number 70, it's going to be Drachev, Eckhoff and Poiré going off one after the other, all winners of World Cups in their time. That could be a very, very powerful group indeed. Interesting to see whether starting next door to each other is going to help or hinder. Danny Graf, good start.
Well, it doesn't get much better nor faster than that, especially in quite a severe wind from the left, but he adjusted his sights, built a good position, and rapid fire.
Well, Frank Ulrich looks a bit more relaxed this year. He's delighted. I think he was under a lot of pressure last year. Talk of him being given the sack as head of the German team, but he got good results at the World Championships in Oberhof, and that was his ticket for an extra year of the job. And he certainly seems to be enjoying it more, responding when his athletes do well, and not quite so depressed when they don't.
Well, a tough job being the coach of any team, but I think the German team must be the most difficult in that the press interest is phenomenal. They are superstars in their homeland and under a microscope all the time.
See if you can see where Graf's shots fall. Quite difficult to pick it out. He's one step ahead of the camera, as you can see, but none of those were central. They all look to be a little bit low, which you suggested might happen, but they've all gone down.
Yeah, they were low and to the right, the wind blowing the hit, the strike a little bit right.
7 out of 7 so far for Grebo. Can he keep this going? There's your answer. 9 out of 10 for the day. That's an encouraging performance from Grebo. He'll obviously be annoyed with that one miss, but that should give him a top 20, certainly top 30 run, and also give him a reasonable start in Sunday's pursuit event. Here comes Ole Einar Bjorndalen, lying second in the World Cup standings at the moment. And
well, the wind is changing. If it's steady, you can deal with it more easily than if it's changing during your 5 shots. Quite severe wind from the left.
Remember, it was absolutely calm when they zeroed. Ski time is good. Takes a lot of time over the last shot, but it goes down, it pays off, and Bjorndalen comes out with the same number of penalties as some of the top stars. Valiulin has missed one, Gredler and Zhang have both missed one, Bergman of Sweden has missed one, so did Hjelland on his first prone shoot. So he's still in the race, Mike, and skiing fast enough to compete. Shoot off 2 bad mistakes, throwing away a good opportunity to take the lead here in Antholz. Here goes Bjorndalen round the penalty loop. Just very, very smooth action, beautifully efficient, and he'll be out of there in 21-22 seconds. Away he goes. The time split 8:30, just behind Park of Korea, who we think's had a navigation problem, and some way behind Lars Berger, but as you may well know, Berger has gone and missed 4 on his standing shoot, so is no longer a threat to his teammate Bjorndalen. Second in the World Cup at the moment, some way behind Poiré, but should explain at the end of the season the worst 3 results taken away to determine the overall winner. So only 24 races will count out of the 27. Good shoot from Chepikov, and Mike, just to finalise that, in each of the disciplines, the worst performance in each discipline comes off. So the individual winner will only have his 4 individual results minus 1.
Well, and in which case, if you look down the list, then Ole Einar Bjorndalen, having missed 3 World Cup races so far, effectively is leading the World Cup total at the moment.
Absolutely.
You could say, yeah?
You could say, but he can't afford another bad race.
No, he can't.
if that's what he's after. But his priority this year is to take medals in both the Biathlon World Championships and the Nordic World Championships taking place in Oberstdorf in February. That should be a great occasion. We're not sure whether he's going to get a run in the 15-kilometre freestyle or whether he'll be part of the Norwegian team. I suspect they'll want him in the skating leg of the relay team.
Well, the Norwegian coaching from the cross-country team were asked, well, what is he going to do? And he said, well, we haven't decided if he's even going to be in the team yet. So the cross-country side are wanting to look after their own athletes, and quite rightly so, possibly. But you can't neglect two of the fastest skiers in the world, Berger and Bjørndalen.
No, I think the population of Trondheim, Bergen, Oslo will be up in arms if they don't at least go to Oberstdorf. Redler, one mistake on the first, good standing shoot. In come some of the early starters. Egil Kielland, whose challenge really fell apart on that second shoot. 29.01, just outside Moravetz's time. 28.42. On a day like that, that could be worth the top 10. Remember, he only joined us on the World Cup tour in Ruhpolding, having a great run.
That's incredible. Moravec, definitely a man for the future, his third World Cup race. Look at the glide, the reach that this man Berger has. And just making it look like distance skiing, but he's on his limit. We'll see him fall across the line probably.
He started a minute and a half behind Egil Kielland, and he's going to come in just under a minute behind, so he's gained at least 30 seconds, if not more. 28.12, the time for Berger. He takes the lead despite having 4 penalties. Kinnunen of Finland coming in with just 1 miss. He's gone into 3rd place behind Moravec and Berger. What I really like about Lars Berger, Mike, is when he misses 4 or 5 targets, he still keeps skiing at a pace that no one else can match. He doesn't give up at any stage.
I think he even gets so angry with himself that he finds this incredible new limit. Pity for Kruglov, 3rd 2 days ago. Won't be 3rd today with missing 2.
Now, Antholz nearly always produces unusual results. Last year it was Sergei Chepikov who got the win here in the sprint event, and his winning record then stretching from 1989 right the way through to 2004. So a 15-year spell of success for Chepikov. That was quite phenomenal, and Sven Fischer's close, but can't match that.
Well, they've also, for Italy, brought in Willy Palhuber today, starting in the second last group. And he's been on the World Cup Tour since 1988. Willy Palhuber hasn't done all the World Cup races this year, but a chance to run out, maybe pre-World Cup in Torino, which is the pre-Olympic World Cup, in what, 2.5 weeks' time? Chepikov still in 2nd position after the prone.
Now Rico Gross, surely he can take number 5. Yes, he can, easy as you like, despite very, very tough conditions. He's obviously got some information from the rest of the German team, but we've seen some good runs so far. The Germans have started well. Eiderhoff, 9 out of 10, 28.17, just outside Berger's time, so effectively losing a minute and 5 seconds to Berger in ski time, because Berger has skied an extra 450 metres. Rico Gross goes out of the stadium for the first time, and he's got himself up into 5th position, Mike, but if he can go clear on the stand, he'll be in a strong situation then. Bergman, 2 more mistakes on the standing. Conditions very tough. Now, when they're tough, this man usually struggles.
That's good for Frode.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that. He's really the Lars Berger of 4 years ago, isn't he? He's changed. He's not quite as quick as he used to be. He doesn't look as though he's enjoying the racing quite as much. Obviously, his priorities have changed now a little, with Gunn-Margit Andreasen giving birth to their first child just a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not sure his mind's totally on the job, but I don't get the feeling that he's longing for every race.
No, it's certainly body language. Even here, there's just that 1% of aggression, of total focus and push missing. But yeah, became a father on the 29th of December, and his partner will be back next year, I believe, and back better than she was, and of course she's been the top 10 female biathlete over the last 10 years. That's good, Margaret Andreasen.
Leonard Grebo heading out 9 out of 10 for the young Frenchman coming in towards the finish. He's not going to match either off. He's looking for that time of Moravec, but he's going to be just outside that. Another 30 metres to go. 28.42 the time he was after. It's going to be 3 or 4 seconds. Kinnonen's going to be pushed down to 4th, but only just. Good finish from Grebo. He comes in 4th place for now. Bilanenko, another of the Ukrainians, and I've certainly been impressed by the Ukrainians this year. 4 out of 5 looks pretty standard, but 9 out of 10 slightly above average, Mike, and I don't think he's going to win it, but he's certainly going to put himself in a strong position for a good start in the pursuit, and that good start could be in the top 5.
Except, well, look at that, if it weren't for that miss, he would be going out 22 seconds ahead of anybody, so his skiing pace is up there. Bilanenko is the best shot in the world this season.
Back to Oleana Bjorndalen. It looks as though Matthias Simon of Switzerland is planning a cheeky move, trying to move ahead of Bjorndalen. Interesting to see that. Now, I think Simon may well pay the price. He's got to come in for his prone shoot.
It's interesting. It's almost as if Simon is on his first loop, so a lot more energy, and he was very keen to pass there, but he didn't really want to shout track to clear him out of the way. He's given him a lot of respect here. But clearly he knows that Bjorndalen's pace is certainly not slow by any standards.
Danny Graff looking for that elusive clear shoot. No one has achieved it so far.
Look at the ski time, 19:22. Even with missing 1, and he shoots very fast. He'll still go out in the lead.
Four out of 5. Ulrich sort of nonplussed with that. It would have been sensational had Graf cleared the 5, because that would have been a very, very tough time to beat. As it is, he's still going to come in inside Thomas Sikora's time, so we're going to have a new leader after this second shoot. Maybe 9 out of 10 is going to be good enough today. We said we were expecting wind and that it hadn't arrived at the start. Frank Look thought the conditions were going to be relatively easy. How wrong he was.
Certainly was indeed. Australian supporters in the crowd. In fact, in the crowd as well is a delegation over from Hochfilzen, which stages the World Championships early March. And they're just having a look at how a World Cup, of course they know how a World Cup is organised, but just having a look at the finer details before the World Championships. Well, Danny Graff has gone out 26 seconds ahead of Sikora, who shot the same. He missed 1 target as well. Nobody's gone clear yet, Patrick, and we've got 37 athletes having gone through the stand shoot.
Well, that really could provide an opportunity for some of those starting later, should the wind calm down again. But it's now coming up to 3 o'clock local time. This is just about when the wind conditions are worst in this part of the world, and then it should start to calm down 3:15, 3:30. If that's the way it turns out, then maybe Vadim Sashurin of Belarus, who's the last man away, will get the best conditions of the day. And the snow isn't really heavy enough to slow the course down, so Sashurin will just be keeping his fingers crossed that things change in the next few minutes. And Mike, we've spoken a lot about the size of the field. 123 starters today. Bob Anderson not too impressed by our negative attitude towards it.
You're negative. I think it's a good thing.
I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. What I'm saying is that the top skiers should start last, just to keep the tension in the race. And I quite see why the specialists enjoy the big field. We'll continue this just after Bjorndalen's second effort. Lull in the wind. And he's taken full advantage of that. Good shooting by Bjorn Dahlen. We expect nothing less. 20:21, the time he's after. He's going to be at least 10 seconds inside that, if not 15-16. Great shooting. Very, very positive indeed. In fact, he's going to be 20 seconds clear, Mike. Out he comes. 20:21, the time from Danny Graf of Germany. Sikora 20:47. Bjorn Dahlen could even be under 20 minutes.
Well, Poiré knows exactly what he has to do now. 21 seconds ahead. Not quite skiing as fast as he was the other day, Oleainen Bjorn Dahlen.
Remember, he took the win in the individual with the perfect shoot, over 2.5 minutes clear of anyone else. It really was a staggering performance, and he's gone and done it again. But here's the man who won the sprint last year. What can Sergei Chepikov do? He's got to clear all 5 and then ski as quick as he's done all year. 25 seconds.
He wants this win again, Patrick. Chepikov. They said 4 years ago he could never win again. Too old. I hope he proves them wrong again.
We might just do that. 19:45 on the clock. A little bit slower by my reckoning than Oleainen Bjorn Dahlen. Didn't get to see exactly which lane he was on, but he's got some way to go before he reaches the top of the range, breaks right, and then the clock's going to stop. He's going to be 7 or 8 seconds adrift. Maybe he'll be able to turn it on, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to keep the pace of the Norwegian. But a great shoot from Chepikov, the first man to go clear here in Antholz, and he goes into second. 10 seconds off Bjorn Dahlen, but he's still got 10 to 12 seconds over Danny Graf of Germany. That second place could well be his.
Very impressive. Unlikely he'll catch 10 seconds off Bjorn Dahlen. Bjorn Dahlen will be told out on the track now that Chepi is only 10 seconds behind, which will make Bjorn Dahlen move just that little bit faster.
Stian Eckhoff, one of only 3 winners of the sprint event so far this year. Quick change of the sights from Eckhoff. Notice how he looks away from the sights just to rest the eye.
He's not happy with his left hand. There's tension there, trying to relax it. The fingers are moving. He's still not comfortable. Well, good comeback. If you feel tension, sometimes in your left shoulder you can feel some muscle tension. He was just trying to release that tension.
This looks calm enough from the World Cup leader, Poiré. We've seen this so often this season, Mike.
That must frustrate Raphael so much.
Especially when you're in a position like this. He sorted it out, but a good 7 or 8 seconds have gone missing for Poiré. That could be absolutely crucial. Down goes number 5. He's on target. 8:07 the time he's after, but he's lost a good 7 or 8 seconds. Bjorn Dahlen came out of the first shoot, having missed one. And Bjorn Dahlen, his time 22 seconds behind Berger, so 8:29, and Poiré's outside that, 8:33, 4 seconds in it between the 2 great champions. Don't worry too much about Berger's time, because he went on to miss 4 in the standing. He still recorded a very good time indeed, but really this could turn out to be another duel between the 2 great biathletes of this era, Poiré and Bjorn Dahlen.
Well, do you know what? I think the problem he had there with his rifle has cost him his 13th position going out after the prone. It really has cost him 4th place. He lost 9-10 seconds because he broke position, he rebuilt his position. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that so many times. I would really consider changing my rifle if I kept getting problems.
Thomas Sikora coming in for Poland. It's another excellent run from him. 1 miss in the early stages of today. Berger's time of 28:12 is under threat. In fact, it's going to be beaten. So we have a new leader here in Antholz, Thomas Sikora. 9 out of 10 on the day and an excellent ski. He's coming to form at just the right time in the season. Here comes the race leader after the second shoot, Ole-Einar Bjorndalen. He certainly has heard about Chepikov, Mike. He's really stepped the pace up, and this tempo considerably higher than we saw him on the first lap. And to be honest, he looked a little bit laboured on the second lap as well when he was skiing with Simon.
Indeed he did, but Chepikov news on the track at 8.1 kilometres. So from the range, Chepikov has lost a further 10 seconds to Bjorndalen. He's trying to close the gap, but it's opening up.
Danny Graff missing one, the same as Rico Gross in the standing, so Rico's chance of a win have gone, but he'll be after a top 10 result, because Rico Gross, one of the absolute world's best when it comes to the pursuit event, which follows on Sunday. Graff is going to get a good start as well, Mike. 28.03. He's 20 seconds or so inside it. Just coming round the last turn now, heading towards the finish. Graff is going to take the lead away from Sikora of Poland. 27.49.50. He's inside. Great ski. And he goes top for Germany. He's delighted. Frank Ulrich looked particularly pleased with the performance of Danny Graff.
Oh, great for the Germans to have another star. Well done, Frode. Oh, fantastic.
Now that is quick. That is very quick indeed. We thought Bjorndalen might have it, but he might be outdone by Frode Andersen. Well, what an extraordinary situation. He's come out of nowhere. He had a great run in the sprint event in Ruhpolding, or was it Oberhof? Oberhof, he had a great run in the sprint when he started the race with a dummy in his mouth. It's been a bit of a downward slide since then, but he's back and he's not too far off the lead. Should be inside Chepikov's time. He is. Andersen in second, just a slight margin behind Ole-Einar Bjorndalen. And if there's one man who can chase him down, it has to be Frode.
Well, 2.6 seconds, two of the fastest skiers over the last, 12 years. These two men were at the same sports school together, given an education and sport. They have been pushing each other in the physical terms. Ole-Einar has been the better shooter. But at 2.6 seconds, I don't know. I'm not sure if Frode can do it.
Well, there's nothing that Bjorndalen can do about it, because his challenge is almost over. He's got two more corners to negotiate. I don't think we're going to see a fall like we did in the closing stages of the sprint in Oberhof 2 weeks ago. Looks nice and smooth, still relaxed. Good skiing from Bjorndalen. Started, we think, a little bit steadier today. A tactic that's paid off for the last 2 weeks of competition. 26.58. He's a mile inside Danny Graff's time. But the question is, will Frode Andersen be able to catch the great Norwegian, or will Bjorndalen record this as win number 49 with 44 seconds advantage over Graff? You've got to think that's the way it's going to go.
It's unbelievable. Once again, the god of biathlon. Nobody has ever been as good as Bjorndalen, and I'm not sure we'll ever find someone as good again.
Sven Fischer would probably argue with that. What a great shoot he's got. 7.59, 8 minutes. He's going to be close to the leading time, but I don't think he's going to depose Roman de Staal, Mike, who's gone through with a very quick shoot, but I have a suspicion it might be another error on the caption. We'll just try and double check that one as well. Fischer coming out. We know this is a good time. He's just off the lead and got a good start position as well. Do you think the skiing's getting any quicker?
Right, sorry Patrick, is doing well today. We thought we'd keep an eye on them, and good to see him coming back. The conditions, I think, are just a little bit faster now. It's been pressed down, compacted, and again Schlesinger, junior world champion. There's some big names coming through, 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds, Graff, 23-year-old.
Here comes Sergei Chepikov, remember, who shot very well indeed, 10 out of 10. The man who won here in this event last year, looking for a time sub 28 minutes to get him onto the podium.
Well, he's going to slot into second place, ahead of Graff. And it could well drop down when Frode Andersen comes in.
Well, it should do. We'll try and give you an update on Frodo's position. He's out on the course, coming in towards the finish. Just 1.5 kilometers to ski. He was 2.6 behind, going through 8.1. I think he's lost a little bit of time.
That's the uphill climb. Now it just depends. If his skis are fast, that's all been uphill since the range, but Froda's lost 2 seconds. He's on a mission to catch this man.
So he's 4 seconds down at the moment. He's around 25 metres in arrears of Ole-Einar Bjorndalen. Although Bjorndalen isn't there for him to see, he will know exactly what he's got to do. But the shake of your head indicating, Mike, that you don't think he's going to be able to do it.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Ole-Einar saved so much, although Frode Andersen's race has been, again, started relatively slow but moved up. Look at this time.
Very good indeed from Makaviv, and Russia certainly have been, I think, the most improved team of the season so far, especially with Kruglov coming up as a youngster. Makaviv, have we seen here? We've got Sherazov and Shudazov. They're all coming out of nowhere, but in addition to that, they've got Rostovtsev and Chepikov still putting in top results.
Yeah, quite unbelievable. So they've got a massive range and depth of athletes. But Chepikov thought maybe the younger ones would be pushing him out of the team this year. He said he's happy to stay in the team as long as he's happy to keep his, or as long as he's in the top 3 position within Russia. Rico doesn't quite have his ski speed at the moment.
Here comes Frode Andersen, 4 seconds, just over 4 seconds behind when we got the last split time on Ole-Einar Bjorndalen. He's being told exactly what's going on. They're not saying, hang on a bit, we don't want you to beat Ole-Einar. They're saying, go for it. You need a win to improve your chances of going to the World Championships. Robert of France comes through, taking full advantage of the fact that the wind has died off a little, but he's still over a minute off the pace. Number 48 coming in, Bjorn Ferry of Sweden. Another good run from him. He's gone clear as well. 28.18. A top 10 finish at the moment. Should be good enough to stay top 15. Raphael Poiret, World Cup leader, could well lose a few points here today. He's gone clear, but a mechanical problem with his rifle, something we've seen a lot this season. Do you think there's a little scratch on the entry to the barrel, or what's going on?
I've been trying to figure out why we see that so regular. I think he's in such a hurry to push the bolt forward that he's not pulling it all the way back. You need to pull the bolt all the way back. That then ejects the spare, the empty shell, and I think he's just pulling it 3/4 of the way back, which isn't exactly ejecting it, and then you get all tied up with the spare round and the new round coming up through your magazine.
And of course a slight risk of damaging the round that you're loading into the barrel as well, which obviously won't improve its accuracy. What sort of ammunition were you using in your day?
I used Ile 10X, which for all my time was fantastic ammunition. A lot of the athletes are using Lapua this year, which is a Finnish ammunition.
And Nikolai Kruglov here, what's he likely to be on?
He could well be on Lapua. There is a Russian make, which only the Russians and Belarus have been using, but it's supposed to be very good as well.
Well, it didn't work for his first pro and shoot. He missed 2, 28.43 for Kruglov. He'll get some points, but could well slip out of the top 10 again. Big charge going on from Rico Gross, who's coming in to finish now. Started number 53, Rico, and that one miss on the second shoot costing him very, very dearly indeed. Time would be around 27.20, which would have been good enough for a top 2. But as you can see, he's now contending with Thomas Sikora, 28.03. Another 30 metres for Rico Gross to go. It's going to be very tight indeed. 1, 2, 3. He's just inside it. 28.02.9. Gross goes 4th. Sikora down to 5th. But maybe more significantly, Danny Graf stays ahead of Rico Gross, the best of the Germans. Frode Andersen coming out of nowhere, 27.19, just outside Bjorndalen's time. But he's got into second place again, which is where he finished this time last week. I think he'll be delighted with that.
I think I would say the body language, he wanted to win that. He kind of thought, what do I have to do to beat Bjorndalen? But you have to be something special today to beat Bjorndalen.
Well, a clear shoot would have done it, Mike, but I guess we have to have some sympathy with Andersen, who had pretty tough conditions for his first pro. 2 of the big names on the range together. Eckhoff nearest the camera. And Raphael Poré clear so far, 19.25.
Raphael knows he has to shoot fast to win this, and that's why he pushed the pace there, but it's tripped him up. Oh, he's suffering. Came in hard. Look at his breathing. Can't quite recover it.
Now that is...
He's having a bad time the last couple of days.
Yeah, he's struggling. That confidence is going. I'm not convinced that he's getting a full night's sleep either.
Well, young Emma, what, 1 year old, just over a year old. And yeah, it must be tough to have distractions on the tour, if that's what you want to call it. But I know he wasn't happy with his skis 2 days ago, and I hope they're running better for him today.
Booyah, Rotman, Gross are going to be just 5 or 6 seconds perhaps slower than Raphael Poré. Here he comes, 10 seconds to get inside Huyat's time and go into the top 5. He's finished in 8th and 8th in the last 2 races, recording points but losing the advantage that he had over Oleana Bjorndalen. Villemo coming in. Poré has just gone out of the range for the 2nd time, waiting for confirmation of his position, but we think he's going to be in 5th, just ahead of the Slovakian Huyat, who's had an outstanding run. In fact, my mistake, I thought he only had 1 penalty. He had 2, 20.55. He's down in 15th, so apologies for that, and bad news if you're a fan of the great Frenchman. Poré is out, 15th position. Huyat just finishing an excellent run. He stays in 5th after the 2nd shoot, so a chance that he's going to get his best of the season. Mike, Poré, his position down in 15th, if he can gain 10 to 15 seconds, he could well move back into the top 10.
Exactly right. 10 seconds takes him up into 9th place. His teammate Julien Robert in 9th place at the finish. What do you reckon?
I think it's possible. I think we're going to see him in 10th, just behind Julien Robert, who's gone clear. That would be Justice Poré, missing 2 today. Just didn't look happy. Went wrong in the prone, although he hit the 5, and then he was never settled for that standing shoot, and I think you were right. He was just rushing it because he knew he had to be quick.
Well, the air is so much thinner up here, 1,600 metres. You cannot get the same recovery. Rope holding is low altitude, Overhoff low altitude, and although you push hard coming in all the races, you're over the top here. You can't quite recover at all to hold your stability. Your lungs are desperate to get more air in.
Well, we were talking about the altitude and altitude training yesterday, saying how important it is that your body's not depleted of iron, because if you don't have sufficient iron in the body, you won't develop the hemoglobin, which is the advantage that you get from training at altitude. But I think a word of warning, you can overdose with iron. You can give yourself iron poisoning, so the best thing is just to eat plenty of spinach, broccoli, and of course it comes out of meat as well. In fact, the iron that comes out of the meat you absorb that much quicker into the body. So, not good news for the vegetarians, but...
Indeed, and not good news there for Roshkov. It was looking good. Had he shot the perfect 5, he would have been out in 3rd place, but he missed 2 targets. I thought Rashenkov was going to have a good race today. I'll just try and have a look where he is at the moment. His ski form was very good a couple of days ago, but look at this, Rotman, the day that this man shoots the perfect score, he does place top 10 and sometimes can win by going 0-0. Good to see the Austrians coming back.
Rotman's now had 2 good weeks of competition, looked very, very quick in Ruhpolding last week. He's gone well, 5th position at the moment for the top Austrian. Halvard Hannavold clear on the 1st shoot. A whole host going clear on the standing, but not for Halvard. His run of mediocre results continuing, but this would have been very promising indeed. I suspect, Mike, that the skiing conditions are getting a little quicker.
It does seem to be that way, but Hannavold, as you say, he hasn't been that satisfied with his recent results, and he's wanting to put that right. Look at Sven Fischer's time.
He's inside.
He can win this.
Certainly. That's the hit. All-important shot. Oh! Oh, what a shame. Just goes wide, but he's still in with a chance. 19.23, 24.25. Bjorndalen on 20 minutes. He can't afford to be more than 2 or 3 seconds behind Bjorndalen. Fischer will fight until he drops, but he's still got that penalty loop to complete. That's 22 seconds, 10 seconds or so before he gets there. So I suspect the margin is going to be around 7, 8, 9 seconds. It's tough. He'll have a crack at it.
He will go for it. Remember, we've seen Fischer have the fastest loop in a couple of World Cups now, especially up in Oberhof. And Hannavold, he is not far away. 23 seconds, needs to find 13 to move into third place. And you can't write Hannavold off either to get a podium position. Oh, look at this.
4.1 seconds outside. He's absolutely blasted round that one penalty loop. Fischer means to win this one and take win number 49 away from Oleainen Bjorndalen. Now, Ilmar Brissis, Mike, another man with a chance because he's only got 19.25. No, he's 6 a second, 7 seconds slower than Fischer. It's not going to happen.
What a pity for Bridges. Has such limited backup. When you compare him to the rest of the big teams, the Germans, Norwegians, the Russians. Come on, Bridges, this looks good. Very slow at getting his ski poles on. You want to get them on within 2 strides of leaving your shooting mat.
Nicky Roche, youngster in the German team. Late start, but slightly kinder wind conditions. He's missed an opportunity there. The skiing time, very good indeed. He will be a star. I think it would be safe to put some money on him winning a World Cup at some stage, but maybe not for 2 seasons.
Well, remember over at the end of last season over in North America, I believe he was 6th place in the 15-kilometre there. One of his first World Cups. And sometimes when you don't have the pressure of past performance, you can come in. We see many athletes coming in and producing the results.
I guess we'd better go back to the first shoot, Mike, just to check that no one's coming up from later down in the start order. See, Hannavold started 81, was in second at that stage, but also a good run from Makaviv of Russia, number 86, and Paavo Purinen, 94, in 7th place. Here goes Makaviv. He's almost done a large burger, missed 3 out of 5 in the standing, so his challenge evaporating.
Well, did he feel the pressure there? I think so.
No sign of Chang.
Mickey Grice, as Frank Luck predicted, could well have a good one today. Has to shoot rapid fire, 5 with 5 to win. Even then, he'd have to push it so hard on the last loop.
He's got a chance. He's got a chance. Still got 11 seconds. Get inside Bjorndalen. Mickey Grice goes clear. The advice of Frank Luck proving to be very, very accurate indeed. Fischer 8.1 outside. He's going the wrong way. Bjorndalen obviously turned it on the last loop. I think his tactics are becoming clear for us to see, Mike. He's decided to slow down and it's paid off. He's won the last 3 races. Well, he hasn't quite won this one yet because Mickey Grice is on the charge. 2015. Grice comes out in 5th position, a little slower. He was slow to get away from the firing point. And he's got some work to do, but if he can gain 5 seconds, he could get himself into the top 3 or 4.
He could indeed, and he knows that. Mickey Grice will push himself to the limit. How's Poirier getting on? Remember, 10 seconds would have taken him up to 9th, although that will change as Fischer and the big names come through.
Well, he's missed out on 9th. I think his spirit's a little low at the moment. Berger's safe in 10. Alexei Idarov is safe in 11. Bjorn Ferry just survives. And Poirier in a disappointing 13th position, the worst of the season so far. Sven Fischer.
There's a lot of power there. He knows how to use those huge muscles that he carries. Sometimes thinks it's a slight disadvantage carrying such weight, but it can power you around very fast as well. Poirier, body language, isn't happy. 13th place so far. He'll drop down probably another 3 or 4 places because of this man, Fischer and Grice.
I think Poirier is so consistent, Mike. The first 8 races of the season, never outside the top 5, that he doesn't really know how to cope with a bad result. Bjorndalen often has a nightmare, and he knows how to deal with that, and it's straight out of his mind. It looks as though Poirier is slightly troubled by the fact that he hasn't won in the last couple of weeks.
I suppose it's a real factor when you're hardly ever out of the top 8 in the world, and then you have, it's not a bad day, he's still at the moment 13th in the world, it's good. But if you're not used to that, you're then in this situation, oh, has my whole race gone wrong? And it really can have a very negative psychological effect on you as an athlete.
Well, he'll be back at some stage. He only finished 5th here last year, so maybe this isn't the course that suits the skills that Rafael Poirier has. He is, of course, the world champion. Now, here comes Mickey Grice. He's got some skiing to do if he wants to be on the podium today. Looks to be losing ground. 22.35. He's dropped 1 position. Paavo Purinen, very, very quick after the first shoot. He'll save it for the World Championships.
That's his aim. He does like the World Championships. Performs a lot better. Well, he doesn't normally mess up like this, Purinen. He's broken his rhythm. He's been so used to shooting fast. Well, he's made light of it, and that's not a bad thing.
Here comes Halvard Hannevold. Seems to be coming back to some sort of form, Mike. In 5th position after the second shoot, 1 missed target. Had he hit that, he would have been right up level with Ole Einar Bjorndalen. So Hannevold, I think, will be delighted. He's going to make it 3 Norwegians in the top 5 or 6 if he can hold on to his position.
Perner, 2 misses. A chance for him to have been top 5, but 2 penalty loops, not anymore.
The wind has picked up a little bit now. It's fluctuating. Little bit of a lottery here in Antholz, but that's always the way.
Just thinking there, looking at the Austrian coach, the Swiss team, the Austrian coach, and of course the German team. They all have German coaches, and a lot of the teams use German wax technicians, of course the Americans. So Germany does seem to be the big knowledge base, as well as Norway. Mickey Grice, though, he's got 1 second to catch up on Hannevold. And there's Hannevold in front of Fischer.
Fischer looking for a little bit of room as he comes in to finish. Hannevold is going to be chased down by the great German. It's been a good battle right the way round from these two. Hannevold having a great day, 9 out of 10. Fischer,
looking at power Fischer's carrying, he's really hunting down Hannevold. I think he'll pass him before the line.
Well, he had to make up 8 seconds from 1.2 kilometres out from the finish. 27.06 has gone. Bjorndalen safe, Anderson safe, Chepikov's going to go down. Good finish from Fischer. He gets the applause of the crowd. They really were disappointed to see him miss that final shot, but Fischer comes in 12.7 down. And that sets us up for a brilliant situation in Sunday's pursuit event. Halvard Hannevold, 44. He's in 6th place. He's lost 1 place since he left the range. Here's the finish from Germany's Sven Fischer. 1 miss. The 10th shot going wide. Fischer then turned it on, but he lost too much time on the climb out of the stadium. That's a little surprising. He put the work rate in, but his skis are obviously going okay because he limited the damage as he came down and has snuck into 3rd place behind Bjorndalen and Anderson. A Norwegian 1-2 at the moment. And is there anyone at the back of the field
Well,
who can beat them?
Jano Prance has gone out at 8 kilometres, having visited the range twice. He's up in 8th position now. That is fantastic for the Estonian. Again, a team that has such limited backup and support out here on the World Cup Tour.
Germany, Russia and Norway occupying the top 7 positions at the moment, but we have then Estonia, Slovakia, Latvia, Austria, Italy, Poland, Sweden, Belarus and France all the way down to 16. So 9 nations or so represented in the top 16 places. That's just how we want it.
Oh, look at this. Well done, Ilmar Bridges.
Mickey Grice What's he managed to do over the last loop? He left the range for the last time with a clear shoot, but in 5th position, 15 seconds down. He's lost another 20, hasn't been able to cope with the pace set by Sven Fischer.
I think this just shows the pace which Ole Einar Bjørndalen, Frode Andersen and of course Sven set on the last loop, taking 15 seconds out of Mickey Grice.
Well, every second could be important here for Mickey Grice. Established now as the German number 3 behind Fischer and Rico Gross. Looks comfortable at the moment, but as you can see, he's lost quite a lot of time to the leaders. 27.19 to get on the podium. He's not going to make that. Sergei Chepikov at 27.38 will be looking on nervously as Grice comes round the final corner into the finishing straight now for the young German. 0-0. Frank Ulrich gives him a shout. Away he goes, looking for a time sub 28 minutes. I think Cheppy's safe. Yes, he is. And Danny Graf is going to be very, very tight with Mickey Grice. The two young Germans on the tour. Superb run by Mickey Grice, just inside, gets 5th.
Well, Mickey Grice lost 24 seconds in the last 3 kilometres to Bjørndalen, and a little bit less to Frode Andersen. But he went for it. He thought he could move up onto the podium, but not today. Sometimes your body, you ask so much from your body as an athlete, and some days it just doesn't react as it will on other days. Fatigue is a factor now. This is race 7 since the 6th of January.
Here's Vadim Sashurin, the last of the starters, back from his enforced break from biathlon. Do you feel he was a little hard done by?
I don't know the whole factors which come into play, but it sounds like he had medication for an injury, and WADA, which I think is a great thing. WADA will need to go around the world to training camps. It was at a glacier camp in the summer in Ramsau. He was tested there and found to be over the legal limit at that time of year.
So he paid a heavy price for that, but Sashurin back on the tour. Jano Prance, we mentioned earlier, had an excellent run so far, was in the top 10 as he left the range for the second time. He's going to have to go some if he wants to stay there. Mickey Grice's time, 27.46, is just going to stay safe. So is Danny Graf. Hilmar Brissis of Latvia could be pushed down one, and he is. So Prance, a good finish to go into, where did he slot into there? Must have been 7th position, actually, or 9th place. Missing out on 7th. Brissis and Hannevold recording exactly the same time. They're sharing 7th position at the moment, and poor old Prance only 0.2 of a second outside, finishing in 7th.
Rico Gross 11th. Ferriol Canard has just slotted in behind his teammate Poiret, less than half a second behind him. There's 2 days in a row now where Raphael hasn't been the best Frenchman. Roland Zval in another respectable performance. That's him starting in the pursuit 2 days' time, I'm sure. 42nd right now. Good time though.
Mike, over your years, you would have spent many weeks in hotels with all the teams, but when you're in the same as the French, what was their team spirit like?
Team spirit, to be honest, since when I started mid-late 80s, they were always the best spirited team. They had a great team unity. They would sing, they would have fun. It's a little bit more serious now. It's slightly splintering, obviously, when you have your main player has been living apart with his wife, Liv Greta. So the team structure maybe has changed slightly, but they were certainly a very happy, positive team.
Just having a look at the flags to see if there's any reason why Roche should have thrown those 2 targets. I think that was really just a case of being too eager to get out and get on with the skiing. A heavy price paid by Roche. Simelis could join those with a clear shoot. And a good time as well. Oh, what a shame. Well, Mike, I have to say I've enjoyed today's race with some of the the good skiers starting a little bit later. It certainly kept the atmosphere, and that's my point. We need to have the world's best starting last, so you've got a climax to the event.
Well, that's right. The coaches have put a lot of their athletes in Group 2 and 3 today because of the conditions, and it certainly is still alive. Oss there, we mentioned him earlier. That penalty costing him a top 10.
Scotty, number 111.
In fact, this is Peter Garabik.
Yeah, didn't think I recognised it. I thought he was put down as one of the Argentinians.
Look at his time, though. This is brilliant. Peter Garabik. Form has not been good lately. Must be being inspired by the young Moravits.
And Schlesinger, who's putting a bit of pressure on Garabik. So maybe there can be an outside chance for a medal in the relay come the World Championships. That would certainly be refreshing to knock either the Russians, Germans or Norwegians off the podium. Good run by Garabik. He's going to be up in the top 10 and a bit of chasing to do if he wants to get himself into the top 5. 21. He's 21 seconds down off the lead, Mike, and well, a 1 second gain will put him ahead of Danny Graf, and 5 seconds will put him up level with Mickey Grice. So there's a lot to race for Peter Garabik.
That's very respectable indeed, and Peter will be delighted. Didn't look to be so strong as he set out on his last 3 kilometres.
That's great. That's just what Grigorev needs as his race draws to a close. It's funny, isn't it, Mike? You think you're going 100% and then you get a shout from one of the coaches on the side of the track, and if they say the right thing with the right tone of voice, then it can get an extra 1-2% out of your body.
Well, that is true. If you're inspired out there, look at this time from Philip Schulman, but he knows it has to be 5 and 5 so fast if he wants number 1 on the podium. Not to be.
Each shot missed worth around 6 or 7 places.
Oh, that was a mess. I think he missed 3 or even 4 there.
Well, expecting better from Philip Schulman. He's got an extra half kilometre at least to ski on the penalty loop, and so having been up in the top 7, he's going to find he's struggling to win World Cup points. That's a disappointing finish to his challenge, but it is all about the 2 positions of shooting. Øystein Sledemark just heading up towards his finish now. Welcome back to Antholz in the closing stages now of this men's sprint event, their second individual run of this meeting here in the north of Italy, and so far it has all gone the way of one Ole Einar Bjorndalen. He won convincingly in the individual on Thursday, and he's looking very, very solid for another win here. He's finished his run a time of 27 minutes 6 seconds 0.8 for Ole Einar Bjorndalen. Andersen is the closest to that, just 5.9 seconds outside. Sven Fischer in 3rd position, and although we've had a number of clear shoots, no one has been able to match the ski time of the 2 Norwegians who head the leaderboard. So their technicians get another pat on the back. I wonder whether the ski technicians, and there are 7 or 8 of them working on the Norwegian skis, whether they get a bonus every time one of their men wins.
I must find out. I'm not sure. They do deserve it, because the amount of hours and the amount of time spent preparing the skis, it's quite phenomenal. A lot of dedication there. Vadim is coming back. Good to see. Still has a stand shoot to go through yet. The last starter today. 2 Italians in the top 25 at the finish so far. That will please them. Vullermo is 14th. And Willy Palhuber has yet to finish, but left in 21st after the stand shoot.
Now this would catch the attention of the crowd if De Lorenzi can clear the targets. Prone was good, had good conditions. third and fifth. A lot of people missing the third target today. Any particular reason for that? We've discussed 1 and 5 often enough.
You do your final breathing going into the first shot, possibly holding the breath throughout shot 2. I doubt it though. That could be a reason why they're taking breath in between second and third. It could be unsettling them.
Last of the Slovakians on the course, and a poor finish for Mariasko. Now Vadim Sashurin, so rapid for the first leg, and he's paid a price at the end of the day. 3 misses from Sashurin, 3 misses also for Mariasko of Slovakia. And only a couple more shoots to be completed. Here's Jorn Voslugger, who we thought might be able to provide us with a bit of excitement in the closing stages. 9 out of 10, not a bad performance. He would have been very competitive for a top 10 had he cleared that last target, but that missed shot will cost him 7 to 10 places, and he's now fighting to stay in the top 25. But I guess a little bit of positive news for Voslugger in that his skiing speed is pretty good.
Skiing speed is certainly pretty good, and needs to lift that up. Has time after these races. I hear a lot of the teams may well be staying up here at altitude and using that as preparation for the San Senario World Cup in Italy, Torino, because that is high as well, 1600 meters. And it makes sense to stay up here. Possibly go low for 4 or 5 days after these events to get your full recovery. 3 weeks of very tough racing.
Well, they'll get a rest from racing now. Most of the teams will stay on snow. Some of them will have a few trial races just in preparation for the up-and-coming World Cups and, of course, the World Championships. Most of the teams stay on snow. Will any of them head back and do the equivalent of summer training?
I don't think so. It's best to stay on your skis, to keep in contact with your balance, the working off the skis, and of course, like up here, you're at altitude, and the change in your red blood cells, which carry the oxygen.
Incidentally, 1 or 2 emails wanting to know about summer facilities, where on earth, what you do, where you go. If you're in the UK, it's a little harder than being in Austria and Italy, where you can go up to altitude.
Absolutely. There's this message from Paul Young here saying what kind of facilities are there at Glenmore Lodge. This is a place in Scotland which has been the Olympic training centre for the British team, and the facilities there are excellent actually, and just recently a club has been set up there, so we're hoping in the next 10 years we can produce some top class biathletes from that club in Scotland. But great facilities, a roller ski track as well, and top class terrain in order to find the best training.
Incidentally, if you've got any questions, get onto our email site. It's the biathlonboys@hotmail.co.uk, so we hope to hear from you in the next couple of weeks. Still a few races here to finish in Antholz. Will be a few starters coming in to finish here in Antholz. From what we see, there won't be any changes in the top 3 positions. Bjorn Dahlen, Anderson and Sven Fischer will take the podium places. Great run once again from Sergei Chepikov. A shame he didn't finish 1 place higher. He's down in 4th position. He shot clear today, but couldn't repeat the win he got here last year. Mickey Grice, as predicted by Frank Luck, came in with a good run. He's in 5th at the moment. Danny Graff in 6th. And Ilmar Brissis and Halvard Hannebold sharing 7th position at the moment, 44.2 seconds off the lead. How does it look for the pursuit, Mike, as we watch the likes of Borovic come in after hitting 9 out of 10?
Well, the pursuit's going to be a fantastic event. There's 14 people within the first minute. But, you know, even though Poiré is down in 20th place, 1 minute 13 behind, I wouldn't completely write off Poiré for getting on the podium in the pursuit. That man will be hungry, angry, and wanting some revenge. He missed 2 targets today, but he loves the pursuit, Poiré. 2 days' time, the pursuit, so tomorrow they will recover. Very light training tomorrow.
Poiré losing just about 30 points of the lead he had over early on in Bjorn Dahlen. So that tightens it up a little. There were 80 points or so between them, 79 points to be exact between them at the start of today, and he'll lose 29 of those points unless someone else comes in the top 20 positions and pushes Poiré out of that group. But as we said earlier, at the end of the season, when all 27 races complete, the worst 3 results deducted from your score. And for Bjorndalen, that is going to be 0 deduction because, of course, he missed out 3 races. Poiré, his worst race today, otherwise he will have 71 points taken away. So that does put Bjorndalen ahead at the current moment. Big wind as we finish, but all the shooting now completed. Borussen comes in 56th position, just inside the qualifiers for the pursuit. And we'll just check those at the bottom of the list to see who's scraped in and who hasn't. We know all about the leaders. Aubert with an excellent run. Well, he's coming in 19th and pushed Poiré down into 21st. So I don't think the French number 1 will be too chuffed with that. But that's the way it is. Good to see that the young Frenchmen are coming through. Just about completes our coverage from Antholz. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this sprint event and the fact that many of the top names started a little later today. So we've got another 30 seconds or so before we take our leave from Antholz. We will be back tomorrow. The sprint event for the women on the card, and then the pursuits on Sunday. They should not be missed. In the men's pursuit, it's going to be Ole Einar Bjorndalen who leads the way, looking for World Cup win number 50.